It's Halloween. Halloween, October 31st. Happens to be the same day that Houdini was born. Also, it's the same day where you have a bunch of shawties dressing up in what seem to be skimpy attires. It's that day where people just tend to use it as an excuse to get fucked up. And to get fucked up while wearing something ridiculous. I remember I've had my fair share of cringy Halloween costumes when I was younger. One year I was a Power Ranger, but the weird part was that my mom bought me the costume and we went around on October 30th dressed as the Power Ranger, with people telling us, you know, it's not Halloween yet, right? And of course my mom saying, yeah, no, they just wanted to show the costume to their aunt. But we ended up not showing it to our aunt. It was a whole weird mess. Another year I was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, where did I find a Stone Cold Steve Austin costume? I didn't. It was made for me by my parents. They found a vest that looked like it was worn by Ernest, like Ernest P. Worrell from the Ernest movies. And she made me wear a bandana. Also, they got makeup and they drew a beard on me because obviously I wasn't of age, so it was impossible to grow a beard with the amount of testosterone in my body. So that was a fun year in particular. Man, Halloween's always been shit. Halloween has definitely always been kind of a shit holiday. Every year, the same exact arguments get brought up. You shouldn't dress as an Indian because it's cultural appropriation. Can we just let the thought? I think we had this discussion in a previous episode. Another debate that seems to come up is candy corn. You have some people defending candy corn. You have some people going opposed to candy corn. For those of you guys that are not from a country with such substantial freedom like the United States of America, candy corn is this weird, disgusting fucking just little piece of, they call it candy, I call it hardened sugar. Like, imagine if you just leave wet sugar on a counter for a week. You scrape that off, you eat it, that's candy corn. And they put it in these bowls as if you're supposed to go in there and eat it. It has the consistency of a hard marshmallow. So imagine instead of putting sugar on a counter, just put a marshmallow on the counter and you just leave it there for a while. And then you bite into it about a month later. And that's candy corn essentially. It's a fucking disgusting thing. And every year you seem to have the same debate of some people defending it. And I'm thinking that if you are someone that enjoys candy corn, you probably also enjoy the taste of ass in your mouth. And no, I don't mean that sexually. I mean that in the actual literal way, as you enjoy the actual taste of poop. It's fucking disgusting. Well, anyways, today's Halloween. So how you choose to celebrate that in the middle of a weekday. God. Usually Halloween is best on a Friday, a Saturday, even a Sunday. I'll give it to you, the Lord's Day. But on a Wednesday, what the fuck happens on a Wednesday? Nothing good ever happens on a Wednesday. There are a couple weird stories, a couple weird and wacky stories from around the internet. I saw one recently about a female fucking a ghost. So it turns out this woman claims to have had sex with 20 ghosts, is now engaged to one. Oh boy. So spirited fling with an Australian ghost has ended up in true love for an English woman. In fact, the ghost just proposed and she wants the living world to know. Look at her fucking name. Amethyst Realm, who's 30 years old, out of Bristol. So you guys saying that the United States has their problems. Bristol here also seems to have some fucking problems. Says she had had sex with at least 20 ghosts since she was a teenager, but wasn't looking for a new relationship when she went to Australia on a business trip. However, that changed on a nature hike when she came into contact with an apparition and felt sparks like none she's ever known. Could she technically still be considered a virgin if she's only ever gotten fucked by ghosts? I don't understand what ghost sex entails. You know, do ghosts have different panasia? Does a black ghost have a bigger penis than a white ghost? And then there's also different time periods. So you might have a ghost with a big bush when that was trendy. You might have a ghost that's overweight back when that was acceptable. I really don't understand the science and the intricacy of ghost sex. So this woman apparently is a ghost slut. 20 ghosts, man. God damn. Stick to one ghost, dude. 20 different ghost sticks. I think it was that movie Clerks where the dude's girlfriend hasn't fucked another guy, but she's blown like 50. I think it's the same here, man. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with a woman that's fucked 20 ghosts. Maybe it feels like one ghost and they were in a committed relationship. That's fine. But 20 ghosts? Those are 20 different ghost cocks that have been inside of you, this person that you supposedly want to be in a relationship with. That's disgusting. So here in a very, this is Huffington Post. I didn't even realize this article was being written up by Huffington Post. God damn it. I keep getting reminded of their diversity. There's a wonderful picture in Huffington Post where they're complaining about diversity, and they show their staff and it's entirely comprised of white women. That was a great one. There's another one where they say that you shouldn't objectify men. Whoever put these two pictures together is absolute animal. But they have this picture that you shouldn't objectify women, and that's disgusting. And then they also have another article which was very close in proximity to the publication of that article that talks about the top 9 bulges. It might have been BuzzFeed. I feel like it's definitely Huffington Post. They're all the same shit. It's all the same island. Ew, I can't believe I gave them a click though. Ugh. So apparently the paranormal proposal reportedly occurred last week when the couple took a road trip to England's Wookey Hole Caves, according to the New York Post. Here's a funny quote. "There was no going down on one knee because he doesn't even have knees. But for the first time I heard him speak," she said. "According to the paper, I could actually hear his voice, and it was beautiful, deep, sexy, and real." Boy, I'm willing to bet that her name wasn't always Amethyst Realm. I'm willing to bet that she probably had that name changed at some point in her life, unless her mom was also as crazy as she is. But ghost sex is a thing. Can you be a ghost sexual now? Is that a thing? If I identify as a ghost, is that a allotted gender in some states? I forgot where they're allowing you to write the letter X as opposed to a female or a male. Maybe it's the same thing now. Maybe I could just add in a ghost if I feel like I have that ghost energy. Screw dragon energy. I'm all about that ghost energy. Could you be a lesbian? Could there be a relationship with a ghost? Maybe. Is that what it was? God, what a weird sort of back and forth here. But apparently these are things that are taking place in our planet. So that should at least worry you about the future of society. I think that as a human race, if even one person is doing something stupid or, you know, is having sex with a goat, I think that really says a lot about the human race, because that's a defect, you know, in our code. That's a defect in our thought process, where one of us is able to deviate from normalcy and have sexual relations with an animal, or in this case a ghost. I think that says a lot for the rest of us. Imagine if an alien race, all it's going to take is them seeing that one person having sex with a goat, or claiming that they're having sex with ghosts. I should have picked a better animal as an example there because of how close it sounds to ghost. A cow, maybe somebody's having sex with a cow, right? All it takes is one alien seeing one dude just boning a cow, and guess what? It's over for the rest of us. They're going to assume that we're all cow fuckers. Goat fuckers. I like goat fuckers better than cow fuckers. Really rolls off the tongue better. So guns apparently send over 8,000 kids to the ER each year, according to this Fox 13 news story. So gun injuries, including many farm assaults, sent 75,000 U.S. children and teens to emergency rooms over 9 years at a cost of almost $3 billion, a first-of-a-kind study found. Apparently, researchers called it the first nationally representative study on ER visits for gun injuries among U.S. kids. They found that more than 1/3 of the wounded children were hospitalized and 6% died. Injuries declined during most of the 2016-2014 study, but there was an upswing in its final year. Researchers found that 11 out of every 100,000 children and teens treated in U.S. emergency rooms have gun-related injuries. You know, I do remember when I was younger, seeing the commercials that they put up on TV about these, and usually it's like a baby crawling to the closet and somehow making its way to the top shelf of the closet, which obviously there's a disparity in the size here, because the kid is about a foot and the fucking closet where the gun is about, I want to say, 7 feet in the air. So the kid magically gets this box and the gun's inside and it's loaded, of course. And then instead of pointing it away, the commercial shows the kid aiming the gun right at its face and pulling the trigger. And then it cuts to the parents discovering the body. It's the same shit as the commercials about weed. You know, they show this is your brain on fucking weed, and then they show it getting smashed by a frying pan, and you're like, that's not an accurate representation of what's happening. The problem with guns is that they look cool. Guns look cool. They look like something that you know, it's dope. They have this history, all right, maybe in Westerns if you used to watch those. If you used to watch a lot of Clint Eastwood movies. God, he's 88 years old. What an animal. This guy is 88 fucking years old. Here's a quote. I have a very strict gun control policy. If there's a gun around, I want to be in control of it. That's a amazing quote by Clint Eastwood. But guns are cool. I think that we would have a lot less issues if guns looked less cool. Like imagine if you painted something on it. You know, if you drew like a penis on a gun, or if you maybe colored it a certain color that people don't want to be associated with. People are going to be less likely to use it unless they have to, you know? You don't want to be seen holding it. Or maybe shape it like a dick, you know? Like have the actual base be shaped like balls, and the shaft, like the beneath the shaft, is just like pubic hairs, you know? Like you kind of make it look that way. People are going to be less inclined to pick up that gun until they need it, you know? So here, if people just pick it up because they're cool and they accidentally shoot themselves, they go to the emergency room, and then it becomes a part of a statistic here. But I think that's a viable solution. Just make guns less cool again. Make guns less cool, and you're gonna have less shootings. You're gonna have people only use them when they need to. You know, if I'm robbing someone, I'm gonna put myself in the mentality of somebody who's robbing someone, and they take out this dick gun. I'm gonna be, first of all, terrified because they have a gun, and second of all, I'm gonna be very confused and almost to the point where I don't even want to continue this engagement because this man is holding a penis shaped object that could end my life. So that should dissipate a lot of situations. Again, all it takes is these gun makers to just make one very simple change, and that's make your guns look like something ridiculous. So here's a fun one. Could you imagine just being in your house one day? Maybe you have some coffee, some tea if you're from overseas, some drugs if you're South or Central American. Anyways, you go in there, you're in your house, and out of nowhere, you just see a Hummer fall right into your garden. Well, apparently that happened. That happened because a Humvee military vehicle was pushed out of an equipment transporter plane and landed in a residential area 7 miles away from its target. Oh boy. So here apparently a 3-ton vehicle came down in an area frequently used by children to play, according to neighbors in Johnsonville, North Carolina. So this Humvee landed in the back garden of a property and between two houses, but no one was injured. Witnesses reported hearing a boom as the Humvee landed. That has to be a great piece of journalism there. How did it sound when a fucking Hummer fell from the sky? How would you compare that? I don't know. It's a boom. It sounded like a boom, kind of like an explosion. Let me write that down. Great piece of journalism there. So apparently it made a boom as the Humvee landed before the parachutes designed to slow its fall came down around it. So that's really fucking funny. Could you imagine this Humvee just makes its way, just hits your garden, and then the parachutes, the fucking parachutes, just shoot out late. That's a great comedic image. But let's see what's gonna go on here. Apparently there's no sort of repercussions on the person or persons that were carrying this Humvee, but it was apparently dropped as part of an exercise by soldiers from the Airborne and Special Operations Test Directorate. The aircraft was based at Joint Air Force Base Charleston, and the drop zone was supposed to be in Fort Bragg. So the incident is apparently under investigation. You know, I've seen some weird pictures of shit that ends up in people's gardens. Cars, for some odd reason, seems to be the most common one. Just for some reason, oh, you see a fence or gated area and you're fucked up. So you think in your head, I could go through that. That looks like a shortcut. And it ends up that their car is inside of a pool or through a house. But here's a Humvee, an actual military Humvee. Is it yours now? I mean, is that the way it works? Is it yours now because it's in your property? So if it was Texas, it would definitely belong to the person. I would like to see the Humvee fall within somebody's property. And when they come back to recover it, the guy comes out of his house with a shotgun and says, this is mine. This is my sex car now. I think in Texas, if somebody enters your property without your permission, you are legally entitled to blow their face off. I forgot how the law is actually written. I think it might be blast their face off officially. But I forgot what the actual little nooks and crannies of that law is. But according to my awesome memory, if somebody enters your property without your permission in a sort of malicious way, you're allowed to defend yourself in a way that involves taking a gun and blasting their face off. If somebody knows the actual law, you could correct me in the comments below. So a couple of Indian bloggers fell to their deaths while taking selfie from a Yosemite cliff edge. You know, again, people dying here. It's never a good thing, people dying. But the reason was completely avoidable here. You see, what ends up happening is people end up wanting to get adulation from others. They want people to go, wow, that's a great picture. Wow, you're crazy for doing that. And then that drives them to do increasingly more retarded things. In this case, this couple were some Indian bloggers, apparently, and they took a picture, a selfie. Well, they tried to take a picture in a cliff, at the edge of a cliff in Yosemite National Park. And they fell 800 feet below Taft Point, where visitors can walk to the edge of a vertigo-inducing granite ledge that does not have a railing. So apparently they set up their tripod near the popular cliff edge in California's Sierra Nevada mountains on Tuesday evening, according to the brother. Park visitors discovered the camera next morning and alerted the rangers, who used high-powered binoculars to find them and used helicopters to airlift the bodies. So boy, they have some pictures here of them at the Grand Canyon. Very standard, basic bitch pictures. It's the female sitting down, overlooking the canyon. Right, that's I think the standard picture that most people take when it comes to these. You know, it's like, oh, just get me in a candid. I remember taking a couple candid pictures and asking the person, what the fuck am I doing? You know, they hand you the camera, and then they all get into these positions that is almost as if they're creating this fictional scenario where, oh no, we're just in the middle of conversation and we're all laughing, so let me just take the picture there. And I'm waiting for them to start posing for the picture. They're like, no, go ahead and take the picture. But they're fucking talking and they're laughing. And then they tell me afterwards that it was a candid picture. It was supposed to be in that sort of sense where you're supposed to capture them in a little moment there. But the moment was fabricated. It was a fake moment. I've done this many times and wonder what the fuck is wrong with people. I have a hard time, you know, just sitting there for a fucking picture. But to be in a candid picture or to fabricate the scenario just to make the picture look better, like this one is supposed to apparently fabricate the notion that you caught this person in a moment of self introspection where they're just gazing over this cavernous, wondrous sort of nature, and you caught them in that vulnerable moment. That's what the picture is supposed to convey. But really, it always looks kind of posed. It always looks kind of fake. The hair's always very well fixed. But apparently they tried to take a selfie and, well, they fell to their death. Can we just make an agreement as a society that if something is so minimal as a picture, that there's no need to risk your life for a fucking picture? The same story comes up every year of somebody trying to take a selfie in one of these high-rise buildings and they end up falling to their death. I think we've talked about one in a previous episode, but it's always the same song and dance. You have one idiot who's Instagram hungry, just scratching for those little hearts. They can't stand not being without hearts, so they have to up their ante here. And last week they took a picture on top of a building on the edge. This time they have to climb a fucking tower and take a selfie, because if not, people aren't going to take them as seriously, and they're going to say, yeah, you know what, that's cool, but not as cool as your previous picture. What a fucking pussy. And one thing that I just read about in this article is that wind gusts. People don't tend to take the wind as seriously as they do. Oh, the wind? Yeah, that's for pussies. That's something that makes me slightly cooler on a warmer day. No, if you're in a high location, the wind can fuck you up. It could push you. And if you're in the edge of a cliff, well, you are fucked. And unfortunately, these people were part of that fucked group as they fell several feet. Here, another one in September. Israeli teen fell to his death while hiking near the top of Nevada Fall. What's the need? You don't need that. And the article ends with, after a series of selfie-related deaths in India, the country's tourism ministry asked government officials to safeguard tourists by installing signs in areas where accidents had occurred, declaring them no selfie zones. That's not going to do shit. That's just going to have people taking selfies in front of the no selfie sign. God, people are just fucking dumb. So police were called on a movie shoot because of actors holding replica AR-15s. So apparently men with large guns were seen entering a church in East Hollywood, California, Monday afternoon, prompting a large police response to what turned out to be a music video shoot. Based on everything that's occurred in the nation in the last week, we're going to take precautionary measures and, of course, treat this as though it was a real situation with a suspect being armed. Could you imagine being shot because of a music video? Here it says they're local natives from this area set to do a music video. Can I take a guess? Can I take a guess here? They're trying really hard to avoid saying, you know, oh, they're shooting it for a rap video. They're shooting a rap video. They're really avoiding that really hard, but I know it's definitely for a rap video. Apparently police said the video's director didn't secure a permit, so officers didn't know about it. You see, a permit isn't just something that you can gloss over because it's the step that, you know, oh shit, I have to have a permit. Fuck that permit. Fuck the government. You know, it's to avoid situations like this. We have police with just itchy trigger fingers, just aimed and hoping to be able to blast off a guy. In this case, a permit would have let them know, oh, they're filming something here that may or may not involve the use of fake guns. Well, I'm glad this ended up in the way that it did, which wasn't in death. It wasn't in somebody dying because of a stupid reason. And I stand corrected, because here it says producer Peter Mandana told Fox 11 that the shoot was for a video by Bengali language rap artists. Here I'm being racist and saying that they're black, but they're Indian. They're Indian. So you had a bunch of Indian folks here shooting a music video. Yeah, they wouldn't have gotten shot anyways. That's fine. So New Jersey police capture alleged serial diaper dumper. What a phenomenal title there. So New Jersey man was accused of stinking up the state by dumping dirty diapers on roadways over the past year, and he's been caught. So William Friedman, 68, was spotted in a box truck dumping loads of soiled diapers on the road in Gloucester County around 3:15 in the morning. What the fuck? Here is kind of interesting. You see the police, they posted a picture on their Instagram, or sorry, on their Facebook, with a fucking watermark. They posted a poop emoji with a fucking watermark. Oh, the mad lads. So apparently 3 times a week, Friedman would dump the diapers in one area before changing locations and times, making it difficult for officers to catch the suspect. So this dude apparently had some sort of fetish, or maybe he was ashamed of the fact that he had soiled diapers, but he would drop them off in different places. And here it says, Officer Garrett Moretti of the Franklin Township Police Department was conducting an added patrol of the area when he observed a box truck dump a load, no pun intended, of soiled diapers on the roadway. Ew. Here it says that on June 24th, a motorcycle slid on a plastic bag of soiled diapers left on the road and crashed. I'd be so fucking pissed. Because not only is the motorcycle probably wrecked, assuming that it's not a soft fall, but not only is the motorcycle probably going to be fucking wrecked or have some significant damage, but also you fucking just slid on shit, on someone else's shit. Not only your own shit, somebody else's shit. I'm assuming you shit your pants, but you slid on somebody else's shit, and you have to deal with that now. It's like the perfect prank. The perfect prank is the one where you take a shit in a bag, or you put a shit in a brown paper bag, you light it on fire, and you put it in someone's doorstep, and you ring the bell and you run. It's the perfect prank, because no matter what they do, they're absolutely fucked. They're absolutely fucked. If you step on the fire and put it out, you're gonna step on hot shit. If you lead the fire, you're gonna have a fiery pile of smelly shit on your front step. If you come in and you throw some water on it, you're gonna have a wet pile of shit on your doorstep. I think the only alternative is maybe the fire extinguisher, but then you're just gonna have this weird congealed shit bag on. You're still gonna have a bag of shit on your front step. It's the perfect prank. There's nothing you could do. Once the person leaves it, it's like a bomb. You have to pretty much minimalize. Oh my god, I almost had a seizure there. You have to minimalize the damage to you and make your decision. But you better make it quick, because if not, then you know the bag's gonna burn down, and you're gonna go with the fiery shit option. Well, speaking of poop, New Jersey ex-superintendent admits to pooping on a nearby high school's grounds. So the New Jersey school superintendent, accused of pooping on a high school football field on a regular basis, confessed to his crimes on Wednesday. So Thomas Tramigliani, which is definitely a fucking New Jersey name. He was 42. He is 42. He didn't die. He pleaded guilty to defecating in public. lewdness, and littering. So the former superintendent of Kennelsworth Schools was arrested in April after a surveillance video caught him relieving himself near a high school football field. Students and staff members have reportedly finding human feces on or near the school field almost on a daily basis, sparking a hunt for a mystery pooper. I do remember back in my old gig, showing up to work really early, as I usually did. I'm a hard worker, so I showed up extraordinarily early. As a matter of fact, one of the first people to enter the building. And what I would do is I would go in, I'd get all my shit done so that throughout the day I wouldn't have to worry as much. So I made sure to take care of it. Eat the frog in the morning if you're familiar with productivity techniques. But one day I remember going up the steps and I saw it was a blood. First of all, there was blood. Second of all, there was just a turd, just a giant fucking turd, and some newspapers, which I assume were used to wipe, right? And then I call up the head honcho, and I say, dude, there's a fucking massive meaty log. There's a huge cheeseburger log on the front steps of the establishment. And he says, yeah, okay. And I go, dude, you don't understand. There's a giant piece of shit on the front steps. And he says, yeah, no, I understood the first time. Apparently, this is a nearly daily occurrence at this place. So this guy just said, yeah, I'll just have one of the cleaning ladies take care of it once they get there. Could you imagine going to work and your first task is you have to somehow take care of this massive Taco Bell load that somebody left on the fucking ground? That's fucking disgusting. But anyways, apparently this superintendent was reportedly negotiating a separation agreement with the district, and they agreed to pay him $100,000 in salary, severance, and unused vacation days. So he was making $147,000. Apparently, funny enough, his lawyer is claiming that he was found to have runner's diarrhea, a condition that would often cause distance runners to loosen their bowel movements during and after running. Additionally, his attorney contended his client was not doing the deed daily. He maintained there was no evidence that he was a serial offender. We were ready to go on trial on some of the allegations about certain dates with GPS evidence from his Garmin running watch. That story needs to be told. He's been through hell and back, deserves a story that tells the accurate picture. Well, even if he's shitting on a school for a reason, he's still shitting in the school, you know? It's not like, oh, yeah, okay, that's cool, dude. You have runner's bowel or whatever the fuck it is, and you gotta shit. You're still shitting in the middle of a field where people play, where people throw football. I don't think there's anywhere around this. I don't think there's anywhere around this. And it's funny that it's the superintendent or former superintendent that's shitting and being the notorious poop bandit, the mystery pooper, as they said. Lots of poop in this particular episode. I'm gonna have the little cover thumbnail be a poop emoji, just a giant poop emoji, and that should get some of those hot Fortnite clicks, right? Because that's what I associate with Fortnite, the popular online video game played by minors. I mention that because some people don't know. If you have runner's diarrhea, get a treadmill and run at home. This is another lie by a Democrat. He knew where he was pooping, where kids play. This is the top commenter here, which has 12 likes, and his name is libdebunk13994. So here the next comment says, pooping on a football field and they're complaining? Please come to San Francisco, where it's visible on the walk, sidewalk, park, front of the restaurant, downtown in the city is, and the liberal weirdo leftists, that's the weirdest fucking combination of words there, are applauding the free spirits of these wackos because they're the treasure of San Francisco. This is on Fox News, so that explains the heavy anti-libtard propaganda here. So the CDC is telling people to not dress up your chickens for Halloween. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has asked chicken owners to avoid committing a party foul this Halloween by dressing up their domestic livestock. The Atlanta-based CDC said that costume chickens out for a night of trick-or-treating run the risk of infecting people with a particularly potent strain of salmonella. At least 92 people in 29 states have been affected with a strain of multi-drug-resistant salmonella after coming in contact with raw chicken products. Despite the warning, some chicken owners said they aren't about to leave their little nuggets at home on the big night. Somebody from Louisiana said, "Can you imagine not being able to dress up your chickens?" She added, "Their bare skin is exposed. I just like to put a sweater on them to keep them warm and comfortable, and some of them have more personality." I gotta tell you, just the thought of a chicken wearing a little sweater is probably the most adorable thing I've thought of all day. Some of the pampered birds even wear diapers. Some have personal chefs and live in $20,000 high-tech coops. God damn, that's the most fucking adorable thing I've ever heard of. Just a little chicken with a little hat. God. But apparently they're warning. So if you have chickens, let this be a public service announcement. You shouldn't dress up. You shouldn't dress up your chicken on Halloween. Unfortunately, you might be inclined to, but... And here another comment says, "Oh great, and Amazon just delivered the Obama chicken costume too." God damn. They're really relentless here with their anti-libtard propaganda. So here's the last story, and finally taking the Florida man meme out of Florida and directly into California. A California man was using a blowtorch to kill spiders and started a house fire. So apparently firefighters in California are issuing a warning to arachnophobes. If you're going to kill spiders, don't do it with fire. After one man used a blowtorch to take out the 8-legged freaks. So apparently this absolute massive legend was started by a man who was house sitting at his parents' home. Fire officials said he used a blowtorch to kill black widow spiders, among the world's deadliest arachnids. The blaze damaged the second floor and attic, and according to the news outlet, 29 firefighters were ultimately able to extinguish the flames. So apparently the department says, please don't use a blowtorch to kill spiders. Let's see the comments here. The first comment, oh, finally something against the Republicans. It says, has to be a Republican. That's what the comment said. And then the second person rebutted, not likely, it's in Fresno. It's in Fresno. Oh boy. So yeah, that's good advice. Another public service announcement here on the PigCake Plus News. Don't use a blowtorch. Don't use a fucking blowtorch to kill spiders. I think that should be logical. It's like saying, hey, don't use an AR-15 to take care of the cockroach problem in your house. You might end up accidentally shooting and killing somebody. Maybe. I don't know. So anyways, that's the news, guys. That's the news. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of this. I'm going to leave probably an MP3 file in the description below, just for you guys that want to download it. I really don't want to deal with you know, the other fucking services or whatever that host. I think I should just leave the MP3 file and have you guys do as you wish. Make it a little bit rogue. Make it like Sam Hyde. You know, have my message being strewn across the internet. But I'm gonna go figure out different ways to use a folder as a way of coping with my severe arachnophobia.
When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.